When Trotsky talks about Russia, he really breaks it down into three major parts. And these are really important to understand Russia, right? So number one is the industrial region. Petersburg and Moscow, the big cities, right? I mean, these are like it's like the Russian New York City, the Russian London. There's all the big industrialization going on here, all the big corporations, the big companies, big money. It's all going down here. Now, the second big region is the southeastern region near the Black Sea, the Volga River. This is where the productive and lucrative farms all happen to be. And side note, this was in what's modern day Ukraine, a lot of this area. And there was already a growing sense of Ukrainian nationalism. And they wanted to be free from the Russian Empire. Like, they didn't want to be part of this whole government, but they were just kind of stuck there. It's really hard getting independence, and having a different people group rule over your people group when you're the ones that's making all the food, oh, that's tough. That is very tough. Who wants to be imagine being like your entire people group is the group that's responsible for making most of the food, and you get ruled by, some Russian living over in Moscow. No one wants that. Now, this third region. This is the rough region. And it's just about everywhere else. Trotsky has a word for it. He calls it Black Earth. There's no industry. There's no agriculture. The rent is high and the wages are low. And it's so impoverished that bed bugs and cockroaches are literally a sign of wealth. Right? So he talks about a doctor he knows, Dr. Shingarev. Sorry for the mispronunciation. And I'm sorry for any of the other mispronunciations throughout this episode. I'm not going to go on a tangent every time, but I do mispronounce just about everything I can. So I'm sorry in advance because I can't help it. But Dr. Shingarev, he talks about how a family's wealth in this Black Earth area is measured by the amount of bugs inside, right? Like, think about that. So if there is too much starvation, there's too much cold in these poorer houses, like if you're really, really poor, it's so cold and inhospitable that the bugs can't live inside of your bed. You don't have any bed bugs because the bed bugs think it's too harsh an environment to live. Just think about how poor that really is. I mean, imagine living like that. Imagine being a father and you go home and your children have to sleep in a bed that's too cold and inhospitable for bugs to live in it. And that's the life you live. And meanwhile, all of this misery and suffering and hardship is going on in your life, and the Russian Tsar is over there trying to fight foreign wars against Japan. And he's going to draft you to fight it. And then you come home, you don't get any compensation, you just go back to living like this, in Black Earth, where you're sleeping in a bed that's too cold for bed bugs. Really rough time period.